West Bromwich Albion could be just weeks away from returning to the Premier League. Their fans are dreaming of away days at Anfield, Old Trafford and the Etihad. But behind the scenes, the club has made a staggering £35 million gamble, more than double what most clubs could even risk. And the cruel reality? Even if they win promotion, they may be forced to tear it all down just weeks later.
In the coming year of accounts, we're probably also going to be facing some heavy losses.
How did it come to this? In the next few minutes, we'll show you how West Brom went from enjoying parachute payments to facing a deadline that could force a devastating decision and leave their new American owners with an impossible choice. To understand how the Baggies ended up here, we need to follow the money. When clubs drop out of the Premier League, they don't just lose status, they lose millions of pounds in an instant. That's why relegated clubs receive parachute payments, financial support designed to soften the blow and keep them sustainable. For West Brom, those payments were a lifeline, boosting their media revenue to over £52 million in 2022, making up nearly 80% of their total income. But this season, that parachute has collapsed. Those payments are now mostly gone, leading total revenue to crash to just £28 million, a drop of more than 50%. Most clubs will respond by cutting costs, adjusting and playing it safe. But West Brom didn't. They went all in, gambling on Premier League promotion. Despite knowing their revenue had collapsed, the club's spending didn't just hold steady, it actually grew. This season, West Brom's wage bill stands at an eye-watering £43 million. That means for every pound the club earns, they spend over £1.50 on wages alone. And what's worse, wages are now higher than when West Brom first dropped out of the Premier League. And this wasn't by accident. The club themselves admitted this, saying that despite a further reduction in revenue, it was agreed that as strong a men's first team squad as possible should be retained. In other words, they gambled. They pushed their chips to the centre of the table, hoping the promotion would solve everything. But when you gamble on wages and still have to cover transfer fees, stadium costs and operations, the bill adds up fast. Last season, this racked up an operating loss of £35 million. But this isn't just risky, it's the kind of high-stakes gamble you only see in one place. Welcome to the Championship Casino. But just when all hope appeared to be lost for the Baggies, a new player emerged. In February 2024, hope arrived at the Hawthorns. American entrepreneur Shilan Patel stepped in, purchasing West Brom for around £20 million. On paper, it looked like perfect timing. New ownership, fresh ambition, and a team still pushing for promotion. For supporters, it felt like the club might finally have a way out. But Patel wasn't just buying a football club, he was buying a financial crisis. As part of the deal, Patel inherited nearly £40 million in existing debt, a growing deficit, and an unsustainable wage bill. The club wasn't just losing money, it was losing control. And the Baggies' problems didn't end there. Like every championship club, West Brom are bound by profit and sustainability rules. Designed to prevent reckless spending, P&S limits how much clubs can lose over a rolling 3-year period. In theory, it's a safeguard, but in practice, it's a trap. In 2024, West Brom accumulated P&S losses of around £32 million, dangerously close to the £41.5 million limit. But there's a catch. That profitable 2022 season, the one boosted by parachute payments, that will drop out of this year's equation, wiping away the Baggies' cushion. West Brom are left with just £6 million of headroom, barely a fraction of what they're losing today. And the EFL knows it. They've already imposed a formal business plan on West Brom.
We'll need to continue to be savvy about player trading, revenue generation, and a lot of other aspects in order to be able to navigate the coming year.
So Patel has the money, but under P&S, his hands are tied. Remember that parachute West Brom relied on a few years ago? Now it's a straitjacket. But as the clock runs down, West Brom face the hardest choice of all, and it's closer than anyone realises. This is where the entire gamble threatens to come crashing down. West Brom's financial year doesn't end when the season does. It ends on the 30th of June, just a month after the Championship playoff final. Meaning even if West Brom win promotion, even if they deliver their fans the moment they've been dreaming of, the financial clock keeps ticking. The club will still have to prove to the EFL that it meets P&S requirements. Failure to do so will mean sanctions, fines, restrictions, and even points deductions. With parachute payments gone and losses still mounting, only one lever remains: player sales. And not at the end of the transfer window, not carefully planned, but immediately with little room for negotiation. An impossible choice. Just imagine it. Wembley Stadium, the 90th minute. Tom Fellows, an academy graduate who has worn the West Brom shirt since he was 10 years old, scores the goal to send the Baggies back to the Premier League. The city celebrate, the fans euphoric, and just weeks later, Fellows is sold. Not to fund a rebuild, not for footballing reasons, but because the system demands it. West Brom wouldn't be cashing in on success, they'd be cashing out just to survive. And even that might not be enough. West Brom's story isn't bad luck. It's the inevitable outcome of a broken system where Premier League dreams clash with financial reality. In the Championship casino, someone always pays. But here's the thing, West Brom's crisis didn't appear overnight. Want to know how the Baggies ended up at the gambling table? Click the video on screen. We've broken down the decade of decisions that led here. Because in this casino, it's never just one spin of the wheel.